Well, I have a wonderful new poll for you. This is from Politico and Morning Consult. It's on the 2020 election. And I hate to say I told you so, except I don't hate to say I told you so, because I told you so. And I am correct. So this shows how some potential Democratic candidates would fare if they ran against Trump today. Well, look at who's number one. Bernie Sanders, 44%. Don't know, 24%. And Trump only gets 32%. Yeah. And this is without even the campaign happening. Now, when you looked at the old polls, when it was Bernie versus Trump, and it was the average of that, and it was from the last election during the Democratic primary and the Republican primary, he was already winning by like 11 points on average. So this is consistent with that. And again, this is without campaigning yet. My hunch is, as soon as there were to be a campaign, this number would go up for Bernie and it would go down for Trump. Now, I say that because Bernie Sanders takes away every potential edge that Donald Trump would have against other opponents. See, Donald Trump, if there's one thing he's good at, it's portraying himself as the outsider. As, oh my God, the deep state is against me, the Democrats are against me, but I'm fighting for the people. He's good at that, and he's good at, as Rand Paul says, being a truth teller without the truth. The way he talks makes people think, hey, maybe he's keeping it real, because he seems very adamant when he talks, and he's very short and punchy in his sentences. But Bernie Sanders takes away all those potential edges from Donald Trump, because nobody could argue that Bernie Sanders is less of an outsider. Bernie Sanders is as big an outsider as there comes in Washington. He's one of the poorest. He is the poorest senator, actually, despite what many idiots on the right will try to have you believe. And he also repeatedly goes after the Democrats and the Republicans. So he makes a point of saying, like, no, you're all kind of fucked up and corrupt, and here are my ideas and what I'm for, and I will stop at nothing to fight for these ideas and fight for the American people. And it comes across as totally authentic. I mean, everything about him. From the fact that he doesn't seem to comb his hair often, to the fact that he, he kind of gets angry sometimes when he's asked questions that are stupid. Everything about Bernie Sanders is what Trump tries to portray himself as. Like, oh yes, I'm this anti-establishment outsider. But you're serving the establishment. You know who's going to point that out? Bernie Sanders is going to point that out. And then when Trump is backed into a corner, what does he do? He insults. He lashes out. See, the thing is, Bernie's not going to take the bait. You can insult Bernie all day long, but what he's going to do is he's going to basically kind of laugh at you and then redirect and focus on policy again, because he's a serious person who actually cares about these issues. So you can call him Crazy Bernie all you want, but he's immediately going to go into his tap dance and talk about Medicare for all and free college and a living wage and all these important issues, and you're going to not know what to do with that, because when it was Hillary Clinton, she was trying to play your game and failing at it, whereas Bernie Sanders would just say, I'm not going to play your stupid game. Call me all the names you want. Here's what I'm for, and the American people are going to hear me out, and they're going to like it. So I think these numbers would be even better for Bernie as time goes by, but right now he's already number one. Then we get to second place is former VP Joe Biden. I do think that Joe Biden would be Trump. Obviously, this backs up that assertion. I think that Joe Biden is also a politician who, even though he's at least partly a corporate Democrat, if not a full corporate Democrat, if there's one thing Joe Biden knows how to do, it's come across as Uncle Joe Biden. So, when he did his debates with Sarah Palin, when he did the debates with Paul Ryan, I mean, like Joe Biden or hate Joe Biden or somewhere in between, he has a command of a stage that's pretty solid compared to a lot of these politicians who are just obviously weird and not. They just come across in a real weaselly way, a lot of politicians. But Joe Biden doesn't. Again, even though I think it's fair to say he's at least half a corporate Democrat, maybe even full corporate Democrat. But yeah, I think that he could take on Trump in a campaign probably better than other Democrats would. And that's not even saying that, he would be great on the issues. I just think that he would be great in knowing how to argue with Trump in a way where he would give off strength. Like, he wouldn't look like he's cowering away or he's overly calculating. He would come across like Uncle Joe, because he always comes across like Uncle Joe. Okay? So, not surprised that he's there. Then, right underneath Joe Biden, who do we have? Third place, Elizabeth Warren versus Trump. Yet again, I feel like this backs up everything we've been saying every step of the way. Bernie Sanders is the best senator we have in the country. The second best senator we have in the country, again, I think by far, even though, again, she has many more issues than Bernie does, and there have been times to legitimately be very angry with her. I mean, she voted for the fucking military bill, which was a grotesque, disgusting display, because that gives Donald Trump over $100 billion increase in military spending, which is crazy, because he's a thin-skinned buffoon and he shouldn't have that. But putting that aside, she definitely is the second best senator. So you got Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, top three, and then, of course, boom, everybody else gets beaten by Trump, at least as of right now. Now, this obviously can't account for what happens after they start campaigning and all that stuff. Maybe some of these people would be decent enough to hang on or beat Trump, but as of right now, all of these people who Washington and D.C. elites absolutely love, and who they think, oh, they would already beat Trump. Not true. As of right now, Trump ranks better than Cory Booker. Trump ranks better than Kamala Harris. Trump ranks better than Andrew Cuomo. Trump ranks better than Kirsten Gillibrand. Trump ranks better than Eric Holder. Trump ranks better than Michael Avenatti. Why the fuck is he even on this? Come on. He's such a clear fucking grifter. And then Governor Steve Bullock. Are you kidding me? Sandra Bullock's governor husband? He's not married to Sandra Bullock. But nobody knows who the fuck some of these people are, and nobody cares. And these are all people who, here's my assessment of them, putting policy aside, because they're mostly corporate Democrats, if not all of them corporate Democrats. My assessment of them is, most of them want it so bad, and they're so smarmy and smug, that I think they could lose to Trump pretty easily. Because they have the same problem Hillary Clinton had. Hillary Clinton felt entitled to the presidency, but she wanted it for narcissistic, self-aggrandizing reasons, and she's corrupt and she represents the status quo. When you get somebody like Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Kirsten Gillibrand, now they're varying degrees of corporate Democrats, to be clear and to be fair, but I think ultimately people will see through them. And I think they do come across as disingenuous, because they are. I mean, Cory Booker is one of Wall Street's favorite senators, but he pretends now like, oh no, I am a hardcore progressive. Shut the fuck up. You're just so full of shit, man. You're so full of shit pushing charter schools, voting against Bernie's drug reimportation bill, and then after doing that and getting caught red-handed by social media, then proposing your own and saying, no, totally, I am on the right side of this. You're just full of shit. You're just full of shit. You come across as full of shit. Kamala Harris, as Attorney General in California, doesn't prosecute Steve Mnuchin, even though he's kicking grandmas out of their house early, which is obviously totally illegal. But Kamala Harris, hey, I got campaign contributions from this guy, so you're no evil, see no evil, baby. So they are status quo, establishment, elitist creatures. They're Washington, D.C. creatures, which is why corporate media will prop them up. But Donald Trump actually has a very good chance to beat them in an election, which is scary. So I feel like this whole just backs up everything I've been saying, which is you have to go populist left in order to win. And what you see is Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who are the most populist left candidates, they're right up there. And then you have Joe Biden sprinkled in there too. Now again, Joe Biden is either half corporate Democrat or full corporate Democrat, but if there's anything about Joe Biden, he does do the convincing fucking charade of looking like he's populist. About Joe Biden again, oh, Uncle Joe, he's just fucking telling it like it is. Like, that's the sense you get from him. So what you're going to see moving forward is the media is going to try to portray a picture that is the opposite of this. They're going to try to put on you Kamala Harris, put on you Kirsten Gillibrand, put on you Cory Booker. They're going to try to, let's find a businessman, Michael Bloomberg, Howard Schultz, business. See? They're moderate. That's what Democrats need to do to win. Be moderate, even though all the evidence says that when they're moderate, they get their ass kicked because they lost 1,000 seats under Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Barack Obama, and Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump. But, moderation is always the best way to go. So they're going to try to force these people on you, but as of right now, the default setting is the exact setting that I told you it would be. Bernie Sanders, most likely politician in the country, Elizabeth Warren right up there, sprinkled in Joe Biden, who does a convincing charade. So populist left is the way to go, and keep our eye on the prize and keep fighting for the right candidates, because we don't want to find ourselves in a situation that's the same situation we were in 2016, where the corporate Democrats are smugly thinking Trump will easily be defeated by our wonderful candidate, Cory Booker, and then Democrats lose, which is certainly possible.